Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're taking a look into Thai folklore, specifically a spirit figure called Nang Ta-khian, the Lady of the Ta-khian tree.
That's right, a really fascinating figure.
Yeah, you shared some excellent source material, and our mission today is pretty straightforward. Understand who she is, the legends surrounding her, and maybe why she's still, relevant in Thailand.
Exactly. There's a lot tied up in this single figure nature belief tradition.
So, a spirit connected to a specific tree. Where do we start with Nang Ta-khian?
Well, first, she fits into a broader category in Thai folklore called Nang Mai. That translates roughly to Lady of the Tree.
Okay, so tree spirits in general.
Precisely. But Nang Ta-khian is very specifically linked to one type of tree, the Hopea odorata, known in Thai as the Ta-khian tree.
The Ta-khian tree itself, what's special about it?
Oh, they're quite remarkable. These trees are known for getting absolutely massive, huge, and they live for a very, very long time, centuries even.
Wow, centuries.
Yeah, and I think that sheer scale and longevity, it really lays the groundwork for imagining a powerful, enduring spirit residing within it. It gives the belief a kind of physical anchor.
That makes a lot of sense. Something so old and grand feels like it should have a spirit almost. So how do people traditionally picture her? What does she look like?
The typical image is of a beautiful young woman. She's usually described as wearing traditional Thai clothing, often in specific colors, reddish or brownish hues.
Reddish brown. Okay.
And that specific look helps distinguish her from other prominent tree spirits like Nang Ta-khian, who's associated with banana trees and often depicted in green.
Ah, okay. So there are distinct identities among these Nang Mai.
Definitely. Different trees, different spirits, sometimes different appearances and temperaments.
Got it. Now, thinking about the Ta-khian tree itself, where would you typically find these trees and therefore Nang Ta-khian?
Primarily, they're forest trees. Historically, you wouldn't find them growing right in the middle of villages or bustling towns. They prefer more natural, less disturbed environments.
So she's generally seen as a forest spirit then?
Largely, yes. But there's an interesting extension to that. The sources mention she can also inhabit, or at least be strongly connected to, houses or structures built using wood from a Ta-khian tree.
Really, like the beams or pillars?
Exactly. Think about traditional Thai houses, often built on stilts, using large wooden beams. If that wood came from a Ta-khian tree, the belief is that her influence, maybe even her presence, can extend into the home itself.
So a piece of the forest and the spirit comes indoors, in a way.
Sort of, yeah. And this ties into her general character, or her behavior.
What's she like? Is she benevolent?
Malevolent.
It's nuanced. She's generally seen as a protector. The legends often portray her as potentially dangerous, even wrathful, towards those who are wicked or harm the tree without respect.
Okay, so not someone to mess with lightly.
Definitely not. But, crucially, she's generally considered benign or even helpful towards good, righteous people. She doesn't pose a threat if you haven't done anything wrong.
So there's a moral dimension there. Protects the good, punishes the bad.
Exactly. It embeds a certain kind of morality into the relationship with the natural world, specifically with this powerful tree.
Which leads to the respect shown for the tree itself, right?
Yeah.
I read that there's a strong tradition against just cutting down Ta-khian trees for lumber.
Absolutely. Felling a Ta-khian tree is traditionally seen as very risky because you risk incurring the spirit's fury. People were, and often still are, quite fearful of the consequences.
But there's an exception you mentioned involving Buddhist monasteries.
Yes, that's a key point. The belief holds that if the wood is needed for constructing something within a Buddhist monastery, it's generally considered acceptable to fell the tree.
Why is that?
The rationale is that the accumulated merit, the positive spiritual energy of the monks and the monastery itself, acts as a kind of spiritual counterbalance. It's believed to neutralize the spirit's potential anger or negative influence.
Interesting. Like the sanctity of the place offers protection.
Precisely. And you see this reverence manifested in other ways too, like the practice of wrapping lengths of colored satin cloth around the trunks of large old Ta-khian trees.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of that. Brightly colored fabrics.
Often done by monks, actually. It serves as a visual marker of the tree's significance, signaling that it's sacred or inhabited, and it acts as a kind of, practical deterrent against illegal logging too. It marks the tree as special.
A visual, hands-off.
Kinda, yeah. And sometimes if a tree must be cut, there are specific ceremonies performed beforehand. People might make offerings and formally ask Nang Ta-khian for her permission to take the tree.
Showing respect even when taking it.
It highlights this deep sense of interconnectedness, of needing to negotiate with the spirit world, especially when dealing with something as powerful as an ancient tree.
Yet the sources also acknowledge that, despite these traditions, well, sometimes these old trees are cut down today, perhaps for commercial reasons or development.
That's the reality, unfortunately. Modern pressures, economic demands, they can sometimes override these long-held beliefs and traditions. There's definitely a tension there.
But what's really fascinating is that even with these modern pressures, the belief in Nang Ta-khian doesn't just disappear. It seems to persist and even adapt.
It really does. In some parts of Thailand, she hasn't faded away at all. In fact, she's become quite a popular folk deity. People actively seek her out.
Popular how? What are people looking for?
Well, sometimes it's about miracles. People might attribute fortunate events, recoveries from illness, or other seemingly unexplainable positive things to her power. They make offerings and thanks or hope.
Okay, so a source of blessings.
Yes. And what's interesting is how this reverence extends beyond just the living trees. People might make pilgrimages to places where there are, say, large Ta-khian logs that were perhaps unearthed, or old wooden boats made from Ta-khian wood, even beams salvaged from old houses.
So the spirit's presence is felt even in the wood after the tree is gone.
It seems so. These objects become focal points for offerings, often those same colorful silks or ribbons and prayers. It shows the enduring connection.
And then there's the really modern twist, the connection to the lottery.
Yes. That's a significant aspect of her modern reverence in some communities. People will visit Ta-khian trees or related shrines hoping to receive lucky numbers for the lottery.
How does that work? Do they, see numbers on the bark?
Sometimes people might gently rub the bark with powder to look for patterns that resemble numbers, or they might interpret dreams they have after visiting, or just pray for guidance. It's quite a phenomenon.
That's amazing. It really shows how an ancient belief can find totally new relevance in everyday contemporary life, doesn't it? Addressing very modern anxieties and hopes.
Absolutely. It's a prime example of folklore's adaptability. The underlying respect for the spirit is still there, but it's channeled towards, hitting the jackpot.
And are there specific places dedicated to her? Shrines?
Yes. While many shrines might be quite simple, just the wrapped tree itself, maybe a small platform for offerings. There are also more established, larger temples and shrines dedicated specifically to Nang Ta-khian.
Like proper buildings?
Sometimes, yes. The sources mention notable ones in places like Sao Hai District or Amphoa District. These might be standalone shrines or sometimes located within the compounds of larger Buddhist temples, integrating her worship into the broader religious landscape.
So it ranges from a simple offering at a tree in the forest to quite organized places of worship.
Exactly. It reflects the different ways and intensities with which she is revered across the country.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. We have Nang Ta-khian, a spirit deeply rooted in Thai folklore, specifically tied to the majestic, long-lived Ta-khian tree.
A nun mai.
Right. She embodies this duality, protective of the good, potentially dangerous to the wicked, demanding respect for her tree.
And that respect is shown through traditions like not felling the trees, the monastery exception, the cloth wrappings, the ceremonies.
But even as times change, and some trees are lost, her presence endures. It even finds new forms, connected to salvaged wood, miracles, and even lottery numbers.
Showing incredible adaptability.
It paints a picture of a belief that's both ancient and very much alive in contemporary Thai society.
It really does. Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe ponder.
Okay.
Considering this enduring belief in spirits like Nang Ta-khian, deeply tied to the natural world, what does this tell us about the relationship between a culture, its environment, and perhaps that persistent human desire to connect with or make sense of the unseen forces we feel might be around us?